Hello everybody. In this video, I want to do a quick demonstration of how we can calculate out the percentiles in a couple of different options. So here I have a kind of modified data set where we have just the Casper wind speeds, we've got the weather, etc., etc. Most of the time, when you calculate out percentiles or quartiles, we can just click here. Now, percentiles and quartiles are a pretty simple idea. What they are is that if we were to line everything up from like smallest to biggest, the first 25 observation or the first 25% of the observations, that would be your 25th percentile. The next 25% of your observations, that'd be the next quartile. So like we have these nice quartiles and percentiles that we can break our data up into, and it helps us be able to kind of organize or talk about like where did somebody land within a group. Like if you're at the 90th percentile, you're really, really high. Like 90% of people are smaller than you. If you're at the 10th percentile, a lot of people are bigger than you. You are quite small. And we talk about this with regards to like heights, with regards to things like GPAs. It's a way to kind of do some nice comparison. If you're at the 50th percentile, which is the median, half of people are bigger than you and half of people are smaller than you. So there's actually quite a lot of ways to do the calculations. And there's not ones that are necessarily right or wrong, just different for different applications. The problem with kind of like some of the books or things is sometimes they wind up using some odd calculations. But typically, like if you use Jamovi, you could just click on the percentiles, we grab the variable that we're interested in, and we can have it calculate for us any percentile that we want. And remember, the 25th percentile represents to the first quarter or the first quartile. The 50th represents to the second quartile. And the 75th represents the third quartile. And then we can get percentiles of any shape or flavor. We can even do decimals. We can do the 80. Let's do like 0.8%. Oopsies, not comma 8. Sorry, we'll do 80.8, and it'll give us the 80.8th percentile. So it gives us a lot of flexibility right here inside of Jamovi. Most of the time on the homework that you're doing, these calculations are close enough that it will be counted as the right answer. However, there are some other methodologies that we can approach, and I want to show you how you can get kind of like the right answers that like the book may be looking for. Okay, so instead, I'm going to just copy this data, copy, and let's open up a fresh sheet inside of Excel, and I'm going to paste these down, and I'll just paste them as text, and I'll give it a title, and we'll call it like wind speed. Okay, so I've got all of my observations here, and I have a grand total of 20 observations. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is we need to sort them. So I'm just going to go click on column A. If you do a right click, sometimes it'll pop up as a sorting option. Doesn't look like it's going to pop up for me right now. Sometimes it'll come up. Otherwise, you can go to your home part of like your banner, and then over in your ribbon, you can grab the sort and filter option right here, and we're going to do a custom sort. We're going to sort by wind speed, we're going to sort by the cell values, and we're going to go from largest to smallest. You can change this to largest to smallest, but we want to go from smallest to largest right now, and we'll click OK. And now it has ordered all of these in order for me. Okay, so in order to find a percentile, we have to figure out like where are we talking about. So if we are looking for, let's say we're looking for the 20th percentile. 20th percentile. We need to figure out where this is looking for. So we can figure out like the I index. So this is, maybe I'll label this down here. This is the index, or which, since we've ordered these in line from smallest to largest, and I'm looking for the 20th percentile, I want to say it's like, okay, 20% of people or 20% of days have winds less than this speed, and then 80% of days have speeds greater than this speed. Okay, so how do I find this I index? Okay, so what you're looking for is you're going to look for your like percentile value. We're going to divide by 100, and then we're going to multiply by the sample size. All right, so we need a couple of things. So the percentile, okay, if we're interested in the 20th, let's have it a bit down here. We'll do percentile, there we go, sheesh. And we'll say that that equals to 20. And we'll say sample size is n, and in this case, that happens to be 20 as well. Okay, so if we want to actually do our calculation for I, we're going to say, okay, our percentile value, which is 20, we're going to divide by 100, and we're going to multiply by our sample size here, which is 20 as well. Okay, so we get a number here. Now we have an option, though, that we need to do. So if I, we'll say I is, we'll say an integer, the percentile is equal to the value, or the average, we'll say average of I and I plus 1. Okay. If I, oh my goodness, I'm sorry about that. If I is not an integer, round up to the next integer, and the percentile is that value. Okay, so let's do this really quick so that we can actually see what the heck is going on. This is kind of an alternative calculation. It's an odd one that I've seen, but your book does require this one a little bit. So right now, if we are doing the 20th percentile, we see that I equals 4, and I then is an integer. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our 4th spot. And you know what? Let me just do an insert real quick. Let's just do an index here. And so this is index 1, this is index 2, 3, and we're just going to continue that pattern all the way down so we know where the index is. So we've got index 4 right here. The percentile is equal to the average of I and I plus 1. So we've got 4 and 5. We need to take the average of this one. So here, the 20th percentile is equal to, we're going to do the average of number 4 and number 5. And so that is our 20th percentile. Now, let's do another option here. So let's say the percentile was equal to, let's say we want it to be the 33rd percentile. Okay, that's fine. Let's do n is still equal to 20. So what would our index be in this case? Oops, let's get rid of that one. We'll say that's 20. Okay, let's follow our formula again. So we'll say equals 33 divided by 100 multiplied by our 20. I said equal, and we get 6.6. So in this case, if I is not an integer, 6.6 isn't an integer, we're going to round up to the next integer. So we're going to go from like I, then for us is we're going to round it. We're going to be like round up our I. And so that's going to be equal to 7. And so for us, the 33rd percentile is going to be, equal to number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would be equal to that 13.278. It's a little bit of an odd calculation, but it is kind of what the book is looking for most of the time. And what I suggest that you try the first time is using Jamovi and calculate out the percentiles. Like, this works really, really well. However, you may need to come and do a manual calculation, and we can do this calculation inside of inside of Excel, just like this. Excel also has some calculations that you can use as well. You can use equals percentile, and we do like dot inc, and we can highlight our data, and then we can say what percentile we want. Let's say that we want the 20th, and we hit oopsies. It has to be a decimal value, so 0.2, oopsies, 0.2. We hit enter, and what Excel calculates it as is for this 20th percentile is this one. There's another calculation though that we could do. We can do percentile.exe. It's just a little bit different calculation here, and we can highlight all of our values here, and we can do comma 0.2 for 20th percentile. It's a little bit different there. And then sometimes if you average those two, you can get what the book wants. So we can do equals average between those two percentile values that we did. And you could hit enter. And yeah, it looks like that's how it's doing the match, the average of the include and the exclude percentile. It's a strange calculation, and you can do it. You can do it by hand, just like what we did here. But remember, you only have to do this for this kind of first homework assignment. It doesn't show up again later on. But in general, we do want to know where people or where subjects land on distributions, like what percentage of observations were above, what percentage of observations were below some specific percentile value. Okay, so there you go. Good luck on calculating out your percentiles.